Ladies and gentlemen, thems and zems alike, I am Dell, and I'm back with another episode of Dech Teck, a show where I take one of my decks, just kind of go through it, ramble on about the cards, put it, show it off a little bit, and kind of go over a little bit of the strategy, and hopefully give you guys some inspiration for your own builds and some ideas and whatnot. Let me adjust the camera a bit. Today, I have one of my newer favorite decks that I don't get to play enough because it is kind of gross. Scorpion God. It's kind of hard to see on camera. Let me zoom in a little bit. I fell in love with the art. There's, 4 scorpions? 5? The little one on the top, the main one. There's a tail, and there's a little guy on the side. I feel like there's one more missing. I love the art. I love kind of like Adventure Time kind of pulp art. Call it Ricardo Cavallo. But 3 in a black and a red. It's a god. When a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, draw a card. I'll say wither counters. They're infect counters too, but I don't want to say -1/-1 over and over. But for 1, a black and a red, put a wither counter on another creature. But when a scorpion god dies, turn to its owner's hand to begin the next end step. I like that little evasion. But I've played it a few times. It is, by any means of the word, not optimized to that point where it's disgusting yet. But in more casual crowds, it does really well and annoys a lot of people. And I don't think anyone really likes getting those counters put on their stuff. But I build in a way where I kind of focus on my own. And I just kind of looked off the side. I have one of these in there. I love this art too. I should do something with that. What's this? Valley Flame Caller. I put little insert cards in there. I just love that art for this. I don't know. No one really likes getting these counters put on their own stuff. So I put a lot of stuff in here, as we'll go over. Put it on my own stuff, but there is still a lot of interaction across the board. And I don't think anyone likes getting their stuff blown up, but it's even worse when you just make their stuff weaker and weaker with those wither counters. Let's get into it. First big chunk, love my creatures. We have Massacre Girl, Known Killer. It's menace. Creature control have wither, which is always just a delight. And when a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was less than 1, draw a card. I'm going to say this now. I probably should have Reliquary Tower here. Now I'm thinking I got a lot of card draw stuff. I did the other video, I'm sure you've seen, right next to one. So that's kind of good for this, where I could probably pop it in there after the video. But anyway, Lockjaw Snapper. It itself has wither. And when it's put in the grave from play, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature with a wither counter already on. I'm going to get better at saying it, because I don't want to say that over and over again. We got the OG Massacre Girl. That cool Z-Bex cosplay art. It's got menace. Enters the battlefield. Each other creature gets wither counter, or -1/-1 in general until end turn. When a creature dies this turn, each other creature gets an additional -1/-1 until end turn. So this is a good board wipe, especially if there's a lot of little guys, which I have on my side. We have Kolrath Knight, 3 and alternate red or black, 2 of those. Flying it itself has wither, and then creature your opponents control with a counter on it cannot attack or block. This card does work. It is so gross. In fact, it has flying, and it itself has wither. It just does a lot of work. Especially if I'm able to do across the board everything getting counter things, which you'll see some cards do that later in the video. I have a foil of this I need to find and put in this deck. Spitting Dilophosaurus. I love this art. Love the set. I love Jurassic Park. But when there's battlefield or attacks, put a -1/-1 counter up to 1 target creature. Wither counter, we get better at that. And creatures your opponents control with wither and counters on them cannot block. And going with the last one. We've got Skittles. Skitherix, the Blight Dragon. I think this might be... I think it's the only infect I have in this deck. I really like this card. Pull this sweet etched foil. And apparently he's not worth what he used to be, but it's fine. I'll use him. Flying infect, gains haste on a turn with 1 black, and regenerate for 2 black. Like I said, I think this is the only infect, legitimate infect I have in here. Save one other card. I think there's one other card, but the reason I have that card in there is not for the infect. You'll see. Merciless Javelineer. 2 mana, discard, put a wither counter into a creature. That creature can't block this turn. Got Hatchet Bully, 3 in a red, but for 2 in a red, tap it, put a wither counter on a creature you control. Hatchet Bully deals 2 damage to a creature or player. Another weird little card I found in my adventures that I'm like, oh, this will work pretty good in here. Micaeus. The Undying is pretty cool, especially if I have my own wither counters and I have a way to like kind of cycle. I don't have an infinite combo yet with them, but this is one of those cards I really like, and I'm really happy that I found a home for it because I just love playing that card. Undead Gladiator, another card I love to play. This is in here for its little block of text here. Has cycling for 1 in the black, and if for 1 in the black I can discard a card, return to from the graveyard to my hand, only during my upkeep, so I can fight him. And towards the end of the game, I can kind of cycle them over and over again, keep bringing them back, and hopefully find responses. One of my all-time favorite cards, Reassembling a Skeleton. I bought this from a friend. I don't think they're on social media anymore, but they're selling a bunch of their collection, and I said, look, I'm going to give this a forever home. I was very excited to get this in the mail. She's a very nice person. I wish they'd come back. Social media, I miss them. But anyway, 1 in the black, return to the battlefield. Again, I'm going to recur this a bunch of times. Even with my Undead Gladiator, it's perfect little shot for 1 wither counter, pops it off, and then I get to draw a card. We got Warren Soul Trader, pay a life, sacrifice another creature, create a treasure. This is fun so I can sacrifice creatures that aren't weak enough to die from their wither counters, but I can easily get rid of them. Golgari Thug, Dredge, 1/1. You know why it's in here. But when it dies, put their creature card from the grave on top of their library. Yeah, it's a little plus. I love this art too. One of my all-time favorite cards. It's in a foreign language, but y'all know what it does. Has haste. Turn, sacrifice it. Beginning of your turn, remove another black creature from your graveyard and return to the battlefield. And then, recur. But it's more in there for the low toughness. Just keep cycling it. I love it. Mana Forge Cinder. A little mana fixing if I need it. It's done a little bit of work. I just wish it had that additional line no more than 3 times each turn. It kind of bums me out, but hey, what can you do? One of my favorite cards from Lord of the Rings, because I've been putting this in a lot of decks, because it just has a really good ability. Enters Battlefield, scry 1, and for 2 in the black, you return from the graveyard to the battlefield. Only if you get to control a legendary creature. But again, it's in here for the recursion. The scry is not too bad. Really love the art on this one. This is one I keep trying to cut, but I love the art so much I keep it. When it leaves the battlefield, the ring contempt me, and for 1 black and a sacrifice creature, return it to the graveyard to my hand, only as a sorcery. So I'd say a little bit of recursion I can justify it, but I love this art. I love the foiling on it. I wish it was a little bit different. I don't know. It's not bad. I just wish it was worded in a different way or made it better. Does that make sense? Got our favorite little goblin boy, Squee, Goblin to Bob. The ERP fits in the graveyard, return to your hand. A little recursion. This card is sick. I pulled this. Okay, I still think it's still pretty high in price, but Maha, Its Feathers Knight. Ward, discard a card. Has this really good ability where all the creatures my opponents control have base power. I keep saying power. Base toughness 1. So it makes it really easy to kind of get rid of my opponent's stuff after that. Another favorite art of mine, Ginger Brute. I'll never forget what they took away, his little creamy smile. Has haste, can be blocked by other creatures with haste, but you know why he's in here. Got that little ability. Rakdos Cackler. Recently got it signed by the wonderful Dave Kendall. Has Unleashed, it gets an extra counter. That helps out more, Anathemizer. Anathemamancer. You know what I said. Just pretend I said it right. Has a really cool recursion where it can deal damage so equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls. Has recursion with Unearth, which is a little steep, but this card's really cool. I love this card. Another Shadow. Use the wonderful art I have here, but I have another playset of the Christopher Rush arts that were quote-unquote signed by him posthumously with ink using his ashes, I want to say. So I can never break that playset up because it's in a special deck of mine. But I really like this Dech Teck. D. Terzilli art. I think that's how you say it. I almost said Detrezzelli. I still didn't say it right, but whatever. Pretend I said it right. Unaffected by summoning sickness, so it's haste. Beginning of your upkeep, if it's in your graveyard with at least 3 creature cards above it, you may return it to play. It's kind of like the little incursion ability. It's also fun. We have the newer Squee. You may cast it from graveyard or exile. Again, it's in there for recursion. Frantic Scapegoat. Something about this card just makes me smile. Makes me think of Drag Me to Hell, another like campy little horror movies. It's got haste, and it's battlefield suspected. Another creature in its battlefield control. If it's suspected, you may suspect one of the other creatures. If you do, it's no longer suspected, but it's in there. Just have a little body in the field. Find some value for it. Endless Cockroaches. When it dies, return it to your hand. Hey ho, let's go. Everyone's favorite Crick. Honestly, might get cut eventually. It does pretty good in this deck, but not that great. It's mostly in there for mana fixing, but I'll be honest, I don't see it enough when I play it, and I probably could put better cards in the deck. I just like this card, that's why it's in there originally. Pitiless Plunderer. Another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. It's in there for that reason. A lot of stuff's going to be dying. Another little body to drop a Wither counter on just to get draw Rakdos Shred Freak. Another great Dave Kendall art. Gravecrawler. It's also in here for that very reason. I don't think I have too many zombies in here, so it doesn't help me as much as I'd like it to, but it's pretty good. Crown Horse. One of those cards that shouldn't fit as well as it does, but it does. Gives her 1 tokens. You're going to see a lot of token generation here too. Other cards I need to add to it coming up, which after I upload this video will be changed. But I'll do an update when I really change the deck. But there's a few other cards I will add to this and create tokens like this. And last but not least, Perilous Mirror. When it's put in the graveyard from battlefield, deals 2 damage to a creature or player. Again, why won't you focus? Again, it's not the best card, but I like that little, what is it called? Shock. I want to say lightning bolt, but shock. 2 damage to anything. I can get rid of this, draw a card, ping something else that maybe draw another card. I don't know. It's in there. It might get cut. Who knows? We got our artifacts. The first couple are more sources of Wither counters. We got Trigon Corruption, and it's with 3 charge counters. Put a charge counter with 2 black and tap it, or 2 any mana, tap it. Remove a counter, put a Wither counter on something. Gnarled Effigy, 4 and tap, put a Wither counter on something. A little steeply cost, but it's in there. I would say for value, but it's pretty good. Mana fixers, we got Arcane Signet. I don't really need to introduce many of these. Rakdos Locket, Thought Vessel. We got Soul Ring. I should call her. Felwar Stone, Rakdos Signet, Chromatic Lantern. I do plan on getting the red-black Talisman. I should have that here too. A little extra mana. But got Trading Post, basically in here for the token generation. What can you say? It's a really good artifact. I think it should be in more commander decks. Genesis Chamber, making me guys, making other guys guys. But it's helpful because they make tokens. Gives me more stuff to put Wither counters on. Urabrask's Forge. Little cat hair in there. This is actually a little more expensive than I thought it would be, but I had it pulled. But it makes tokens. You get an oil counter, beginning of combat on your turn. You make an X1 red for X horror creature token with trample and haste, or X number of oil counters on it. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. I like the 1 toughness. I hesitated because I wanted to say it right. And I don't really care about attacking too much, but end game it can be pretty strong. But more than anything, just looking for something to put Wither counters on. Now, Cormor's Bell is one of those cards. It's like putting a loaded gun on the table. I'm not looking to be that guy, but the gun's on the table, so just in case somebody starts making my good time bad, I can stop things pretty quick. But we got Nuisance Engine. Tap it to make a pest. Again, token generation for card draw. We got Andoril, just beautiful art. Finally found a home for this card. I love popping this onto my commander and being a problem. But token generation upon combat. Let you guys read it. I'm not gonna try to say those words because I'm gonna mess them up. It's pretty good making my commander a 9/6 right? 3/1, 6/5, yeah. And just making little guys. Caltrops, again, don't mess with me. Finally got Jeff Lobenstein to sign it. Great guy. He's done some wonderful art for me through the years. This in conjunction with the Cormus Bell and Urborg, as you soon will see, can cause some trouble. But again, this also helps with any other combat shenanigans like tokens and whatnot. Shadow Spear. Got a secret lair, Tomb Raider secret lair that I'm meaning to swap up. I kind of like the art in this. That secret lair card might go somewhere else, but mainly in there to get rid of Hexproof and Indestructible. Help me out, making stuff smaller. One of my very favorite cards, Despotic Scepter. Just blowing up stuff I own. Someone wants to steal it. Maybe I want a card draw with the wither counters. No. Another of my favorite cards, Lifeline. This makes it a little more fair. Stuff comes back to the battlefield as long as there's a creature remaining, and it's one of those cards as well that just keeps letting my stuff cycle. So I'm not being too mean. Just mean enough. Just mean enough. Speaking of mean, we got Grave Pact and Dictate of Erebos. Pretty much same thing. Whenever a creature I control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. Really mean for most decks. I got really fancy art for this deck because I had it. Most of this deck is cards I had. There is a few cards I bought, but looking for homes, right? Everlasting Torment. Players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. All damage is dealt as though the source had Wither. Love that part. Love it. Fist of the Demigod. Again, gonna put it on my commander. It's black, has +1/+1 Wither, and as long as it's red, it gets +1/+1 and First Strike. Fun little card. Oh, yeah, here's the other infect. So technically, this is the other infect. Glistening Wall. 2 black. Enchant creature, it has infect. Sure. Being your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. When it goes in the graveyard, return it to the hand. I like putting this on other players' creatures. I don't care if I get killed with infect, because I have done a few times. I love the art, I love that ability, but it's mainly just to put on a little guy, and then upkeep dies, I get it back, draw a card, move on with my life. Crumbling Ashes, 1/1, 1/1 black. Beginning of your upkeep, destroy creature with a -1/-1 counter on it. Again, pretty good, useful. Not the craziest, but the next two, yeah, timed it right. This combo is sick, and I was able to get both of them signed for added serotonin release, we'll call it. We got Nest of Scarabs and Blowfly Infestation. When one Wither counter is put on a creature, make a bug. And when a creature is put in a graveyard, play if it had a counter on it, put a counter something else. So if I get the combo right, I get a bug. When I get a counter put on something, but you put on the bug, it sees that, makes another bug. You get to move that counter on the next bug, and just a bunch of card draw, mostly for that. But it also helps me wipe the board if I have Dictate out or Grave Pact. Like I said, not fun, not wholly disgusting, but gosh, it does a lot of work. What do I have next? Instants and Sorcerers. I can have one instant. But Liliana's Influence, 4 and 2 black. It's a board wipe, if I can run it right. It has a secondary ability for you get the Death Wielder. I don't care. I put it in there for that main. Put a counter on each creature you don't control. Wither counter. It's pretty good. Persist. Get to return something from my graveyard to the battlefield, but it gets a counter. I've done this for a few times for just a strip card draw. Exhume. Another great card. Again, everyone gets to put something back. I want your stuff to come back to you. I'm trying to be nice. Got the good old-fashioned Reanimate. And I have a foil of this, and it's a really cool card. I should have got Pete to send. I don't remember if I did or not. This is non-foil, obviously, because it's so badly pringled. It's one of those older foils that just, like, every once in a while there's just like a batch of them that just are so badly curled. I think somebody just kept them in a wet basement. But I love this card so much, I had to get... This is one of the cards I had to buy. I had to buy a non-foil so I could actually use it. I've had the foil for so long, and it's just a real quick, instant, bap, you know? Now, the one, the only Planeswalker in the deck. Again, I had this card. I've been looking for something to use it in. It's from that Sealer where they're all zombies. Chandra's all kinds of blown up. But her first ability, put 2 3/1 red elemental tokens, haste, exile, whatever. No, I'm gonna use this for other stuff. Put counters on it, let them die, get draw cards. Now we're through. We're going to do the lands next. We'll say there's some other cards I want to add, like Ashnod's Altar eventually, where I have a sack outlet where I can make mana to do stuff, but also still get the benefit of the card draw with the counters. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's just one of those things where there's cards I want to add, but it's getting harder to cut some of the cards. Like I said, there's a couple that I could think about right now. I kind of want to cut, but oh, right on top, Reliquary Tower. That's why I put Murphyl's in here. It's a little promo one. Karn's Bastion for Proliferate. I don't have the Proliferate artifacts in here because they're high costed mana, but I don't really want them. That's another one where I'm like, it's pretty easy not to put those in there. Got our land fixing. Got Bloodstained Mire, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse. Our non-basics, we got Smoldering Marsh, signed by the artist, City of Brass, Mana Confluence, Dragon Skull Summit, Luxury Suite, Command Tower, Reflecting Pool, Haunted Ridge, Blood Crypt, Urborg, like we talked about before, Rakdos Theater, really sweet art, Mountain Doom, and Graven Carns. Not too crazy, it's a red-black deck, so some of these would make sense to have in here. Urborg being the most with Karma Spell, you know, a little bit of a combo there. And then, last but not least, so the basics. Got a couple different kinds of swamps, a couple duplicates in here because I just like the arts, and that's what I had when I built it. And the mountains. Again, a couple dupes. Eventually, I'll go through, kind of zuzz it up a little bit with the basics, cut a few cards, add a few cards, but ultimately, I need to make more content, so I figured why not talk about a deck that I enjoy. I really enjoy this deck. It's not fun for a lot of the players I play against, but ultimately, that's Magic. I'm here to have fun. This is one of my, I call it a higher powered, but it is not overpowered. Does that make sense? It's a 7. No, it's not casual, but it's like the mid, where it gets pretty gross. People don't like it, but ultimately, it's not that strong. You know, it's an honest mid-level deck. It's just not nice. I don't have a lot of removal, as you can see beyond the counters. I think that makes it more fair. Red-black has a lot of destruction removal that I could put in it, but ultimately I don't, because I don't want to be that gross. I don't want to be that commandeering, but I will towards the end of the game where I'm trying to close stuff out. You know what I mean? But that is my deck. Let me know what you think. Appreciate you guys watching me to the end. I have more stuff coming up. Money is very tight now, so it's going to be less pack opening stuff and more what I already have kind of stuff. My shorts have been run through. I enjoyed doing that, and maybe when I buy packs, that'll be it. But beyond doing shorts opening the packs, I won't do main video stuff. I have other stuff planned. It's going to be long form videos like these, but I can't afford to keep buying packs all the time, right? So when I do buy packs, I'll do the videos that get more views, get more eyes on it. And then if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. What do you like? Think of the deck? Do you think you could add anything better? Is this inspired to make your own Scorpion God deck? Really proud of the thumbnail, because when I do play this deck, I say Scorpion King a lot. And that was one of my favorite movies in junior high. I'm rambling now, so with that, I'll say goodbye, and as always, love you.